Fine. So we completed setups up to supplier creation. This session is 38th session. Now let's focus on bank account creation. So when you look at the structure of bank account, first you have a bank, under bank, branch, under branch, account. For account, you can have a documents. So account is owned by LE and account can be assigned to BU. The bank account is owned by legal entity. Legal entity is the owner for the bank account, and the bank account can be assigned to one or multiple BUs. Again, here is the point when you say like assign bank account to multiple BUs, all the BUs should be in the scope of the same LE. Those points we discussed. Again, the bank account can be used in which applications also you can set up. The bank account level, the bank account which is owned by legal entity, that can be used in which applications clearly you can specify. You may limit that bank account can be used only in the payables, only in the receivables, payables and receivables, and other applications also, say payroll applications. From HCM side, the payroll department may use the same bank account to process the salaries to the employees. So these are the points we have to understand when we talk about bank account. Now, let's look into this. First, we'll go and create the bank, then branch, account, documents, then we'll see the assignments. To create as a part of bank account definition, we'll come across how to do the bank assignments, bank account assignments to specific BU. Right. So go to setup and maintenance task. From the setup and maintenance, you find one task called as manage banks. So manage banks is the task. Here you can see tasks are in the sequence. Manage banks, manage bank branches, manage bank accounts. So 3 separate tasks are available. You may use 3 separate tasks, or else one task may help us to perform another task also. When you go to banks, it may help there could be an option where you can create branch also. When you create the branch within the same task along with the branch, you may have option to create the account also. So that's how there is linking functionality to create these setups. If you want to create from the relevant task, yes, you can do that. Click on manage banks. Let me zoom in. Click on manage banks. So from this page, we can create the banks. You could see many banks. Since this is in this instance, we are using for training purpose. Reality, you don't see any sample banks in the fresh instance. So we have an option to create the bank here. You can click on create. After creating the bank, you have an option to create branch also. For branch creation, yes, we have a separate task. If you want to create the branch from that task, yes, you can do, or else first you can create your bank. For that bank, you can create the branch from here itself. If you want to see existing branches for specific bank, you can see. Say there is one bank here. Okay. You select that bank and click on view branches. If any branch is already available with that bank, you can see one branch is created. And in this branch, how many accounts we have? You can just select the same records, click on view accounts. One account is available. That's it. See, from same task, we are able to access other tasks also. So when you are in this page, manage banks. Yes, this is the page. When you are in this page, you can click on plus icon, create the bank. If you want, after creating, you can create the branch. After creating the branch, you can view the branch from the same page. When you view the branch, if you want to view the existing accounts in that branch, yes, you can view, or else within this branch, if you have any bank account, you can create bank account from here itself. I'm not navigating across the different tasks. From there itself, the task linking is available. See here, manage bank branches. So I no need to go back. I no need to look for the task called as where is the manage branches, where is the manage bank account tasks. I don't need to click from here. I don't need to come back. I don't need to select the task. So if you click on manage branches, from there itself, you can navigate for branch and accounts. And if you want to view the existing branches accounts, yes, that is also possible. Okay. So that's how you can manage with these different tasks. Now click on manage banks. Click on manage banks. Now click on the plus icon. There won't be any sample data in the fresh instance. Oracle is not providing any bank's information as a seeded data. We need to create whatever the banks, branches, and accounts we are dealing. Click on plus icon. Click on plus icon. And when you create the bank, branch, and other details, system will display the fields based on the country. So based on the country, in specific country, if you take example of India, every branch will have one IFSC code. In the same way, in the different countries, there are different unique identifications for every branch and relevant information. So that's how this design also available in the application. Depending on the country, system will expect relevant fields of data. So select the bank is belongs to which country. Say United States. Search with the country code. Select, say OK. So provide bank name. For practice purpose, we can use ERP tree bank. Yes, you can create real bank, maybe HSBC or JP Morgan. What happens is these are the practice environments. So most of the people, they may try with the similar names, will get confused. Of course, all the levels will have a filtration based on the access we given. We'll be able to connect to our data. That is very much possible. So you assign this bank account to specific BU. That BU can have access to this bank related accounts. That's how you can filter. But sometimes when you come back, if you are checking, if you don't remember what you created, or else if somebody created similar naming convention, you may get confused. What I would recommend is better you can use for everything ERP tree as a prefix, right? I mean to say, like in the same way, whatever the name you take, that use as a prefix. That's how you can differentiate in this testing environment, right? In this test environment, you can differentiate. If you want to create the real names you can create. Say HSBC Bank. I'm using as HSBC. When you practice, yes, you can use the real names or everything go with the ERP tree or some specific name what you use. I'm giving name as HSBC and says save and close. You can provide the address, you can provide the contact details at bank level. Ideally, bank level, we don't keep in touch with anybody. If you want to provide, yes, you can provide. Branch level, it makes sense because in branch level, we will have a bank account. So you may have kind of requirements where you have to talk to the branch. So we created a bank. Just we given the country name and bank name. Now select the same bank name, select the same record and click on create branch. Click on create branch. So system is selecting bank and country. Now provide branch name. Provide the branch name. So here you can give the branch name as HSBC Dallas. So here one branch is located and the same name I am giving. And routing number. In US, every branch need to be identified by unique number called as routing number. And Oracle also written some piece of code for validation purpose. If I enter something, it won't accept. Okay, it will look for the format and it will count the routing number follows the how many digits standard. Such kind of validation Oracle written, that is the reason random numbers doesn't work. You have to take the original number. You can take any one of the routing number. Just go to Google. Here you can just search for uh, any bank. It may not be HSBC. Say I'll say Bank of America Dallas routing number. But now just we are testing. You can go with any number, any bank, but that routing number should be valid number. So here is one of the routing number. Okay, you just copy, paste here. Okay, copy and paste. Done. So these are the key details you have to provide. If you want to create the address for this branch, yes, expand addresses section and you can add the address and you can expand contacts. Who is a contact person from this branch for us? You can provide that information. Not mandatory. I'm just ignoring. When you practice, if you want to add it. There is nothing to learn. Just provide the address and the contact information. Now click on save and close. Click on save and close. Our branch record would be ready. Now let's review the branch information. Here is a bank. By selecting bank, we created branch. Now select the same bank. Click on view branches. So against this bank, we created one branch. Here is the Dallas branch. Now against this branch, we are going to create bank account. We don't have any accounts created against this branch. If you click on view accounts, we don't have any accounts. From here also, you can create the account. You can click on plus icon and you can create the account, or else here you have a separate tab called as create account. Click on create account. So from this page, we can create the bank account. So account name I'm giving as HSBC corporate account. So provide account number. When we create the bank account definition, the system, we get complete information from the client. They will share all their bank accounts and we follow the same data and we create the bank accounts in the system. So as per the record what we received from our client, the bank account number is this. This is the bank account number. And the bank account is operated in which currency? The bank account is operated in which currency? Since client is operating the business in US, by default, that would be USD. Okay. So now if you select currency as USD, by default, you can deal with USD related transactions, USD related payments, maybe paying or receiving. Only USD, the bank account you can use to transact in USD currency only. If you want to use the same bank account to make the payment in the different currency, we have to do additional setups that we will see when we deal with those concepts. If you are selecting any currency at bank account level, it means this bank account allows you to process the payments only in that currency. If you want to process the payment in INR by using this bank account, by default not possible, but later we can set the permissions. That permissions will allow us to process the payments in different currency also. Now, who is the owner to this bank account? Already we discussed owner is legal entity. Legal entity is nothing but company identification, registration. So select our legal entity name. If somebody is from EBS background, then notice in EBS, if you want to select legal entity as a owner for the bank account, it is not possible. First, you have to make legal entity as a owner, then you can select that legal entity as a owner to bank account. Right? If you want to become a owner for some property, you have to go to registration office. The registration formalities we have to complete. That's how you'll have eligibility to say you are a owner. So that sort of setup is available as per EBS. In the Fusion, they removed that kind of registration process where legal entity can become a owner for bank account. Here by default, any legal entity can become a owner for bank account. So that sort of just changes they did. So if you are from EBS background, just find the difference. In EBS, if you while creating the bank account, if you try to select your legal entity, you don't find. Okay, you have to go to user management application, and in that application, you have to qualify your legal entity as a owner with a registration process by setting the privileges. Then you will be able to select your legal entity during the bank account creation. But in Fusion, you no need to do such kind of setups. Every legal entity will be available as owner when you create bank account. Let's search for our legal entity. Our legal entity name is ERP3 Financial Services. Select. Okay, ERP3 Financial Services. Just notice the moment I selected legal entity, system is defaulting these accounts. I selected legal entity and system taking these accounts. Cash account, cash clearing account, reconciliation, difference accounts it is taking. How it is taking? It is taking because in the rapid implementation sheet, we have extended tagging for this account. Extended tagging for this account. And here, okay, here it is taking 1000. By default, it is taking the 1,000. As of now, okay, as of now, there is no business unit assignment here. Under this legal entity, you may have a multiple bank accounts. That is the reason here it is not taking as of now with a combination of BU. Okay, it is not combining with any BU, and it is not taking for this BU what is the BSV. It is not taking. In this setup, system is taking the balancing segment value, which is the very first balancing segment value in the company's list. So the moment you select legal entity, it is deriving this. Now, we have to specify this bank account we are going to use in which applications. Here we have account use. Just focus on the fields what we are discussing. The fields which you are not focusing, just ignore it. You don't focus when we are not focusing the class. Which are required, which we have to understand, those are enough for us. Okay. Rest, if you want to check, you can check. Somebody might be looking at field called as account type. Yeah, you can just, when you're practicing, click and you can see. Okay, not important. Which is required, which fields we play and which are primary, that we focus. So we don't need to focus some unused or not required fields mostly. So account use. This account you are going to use in which applications? We have a payables, payroll, and receivables. In payables, we may use this bank account to process the payments to suppliers. In receivables, we may use this bank account to collect the payments. Means when you get the payment from the customer, that payment you have to specify you are going to deposit into which bank account, or else you are going to route that payment to which bank account. So for that purpose, we may need bank account. And payroll application to process the employee salaries, we may use this bank account. So most of the cases, the companies, what they do is, for payables and receivables, they use separate accounts. Separate accounts means some companies, they may use payables on account, receivables separate account. Some companies, payables and receivables, they use the same bank account. And most of the cases, the payroll, they will have a separate bank accounts. Payroll, they will have a separate bank accounts. In some cases, you come across the cases where they use for payables, receivables, payroll, also same bank account. It depends. There is no rule. So how they have the arrangement of bank accounts, accordingly company will use. What we have to understand is this bank account should be accessed by which applications that we have to set up. So always we ignore payroll. So enable payables and receivables. So this bank account should be available in payables and receivables. If this bank account is available in the payables and receivables, what we can do? We can make the payments and we can record the receipts. But if you want to use these bank accounts in payables and receivables, when you record the transactions without business unit, you cannot. That is the reason this bank account we have to assign to business unit, so that in these applications, when you record the transactions in that business unit, you can use this bank account. So I may enable payables and receivables. Now, if I go and check in the payables and receivables, the bank account will not be available. In payables and receivables, every transactions we record with the BU alignment. So we have to tell to the system, yes, we want to use in payables and receivables with so-and-so business unit. Okay, if you are not combining with business unit with these applications, it doesn't work. So that is the point we have to understand. Yes, we are going to assign the bank account to business unit. Before that, we will create the documents. Just notice every point what we are discussing. Okay, account use, we have payables, payroll, receivables, but we are enabling this bank account should be available in these applications in specific BUs. Those BUs will specify. And the moment you select legal entity, system is defaulting the cash clearing reconciliation difference. Whenever we make the payment, we will understand what is the purpose of these accounts. Okay, we'll come across how system is taking this account code combination based on extended tagging, which is available in the rapid implementation. If you go to rapid implementation, if you see this account, if you check this account 11010, you will find account type as asset hyphen cash. If you see this account, it will display as extended tagging as a cash clearing based on the field name. That's how the arrangement is already available in the rapid implementation sheet. Accordingly, system is created. Now, scroll little down, you have a documentation section. Okay, you have a documentation section. Now, just create payment document. It could be any document. You may process the payment through check, or you may process the payment through electronic. Anything. How you are going to process the payment, for that you have to create the document. When you are processing the payments in the system, the document will become mandatory. It could be check payment, it could be electronic, it could be some XYZ. Even you are paying through cash also, you have to create the payment document as a cash. So you should specify the documents, then only you can process the payments. Whenever you make the payment, documents will become mandatory. So just create the document for specific bank account. Then click on plus icon and provide document. I'll say check. Okay, check payments. And when you get the checks from the banker, you can get two different type of stock. One is blank, second one is numbered stock, means pre-printed check numbers, and the check format also you will get. As an individual, when you open the bank account, we get checkbook. The checkbook is pre-printed, it is a printed, it is not empty, right? So everything would be there, payee, and the format, payee, date, amount. They'll be providing some box, and inwards they'll give one line, and below you can see the check number. These all are pre-printed. So if company is getting such kind of checks, that we call as a numbered stock, already number would be available. And based on the company request, the bank can provide only blank stock, nothing. They will be providing the stationery, that leaves, bank leaves. Okay, so we print everything from our side. So what sort of documents we are getting from the banker, means company point of view. This is the, your client is getting what kind of stationery from their bank. So accordingly, that need to be selected. So if you select blank stock, that means the technical person should work on the format also. So if you are getting check, there will be format which is printed. But empty check you are getting, empty check means nothing is, no text on that, no format on that, no box, no line, no payee, no date, nothing is written. It's empty, blank. So that all we have to print from the system only. For that, technical consultant should work on the format. So everything will be printed from our system. The format, as per format, data also. Okay, from our system itself, the payee line need to be printed. Again, in the line, payee name, means supplier name also need to be printed. And from our system has to display the box called as date, and again within that section it has to print the date also. So that's how it is. Say, so BOA or say HSBC. Okay, HSBC check. So now if it is a blank stock, everything system has to print. Maybe they may give this logo, Rest date need to be, this section need to be printed, this need to be printed, here text need to be printed, payee name need to be printed, and everything need to be printed. So if you go with the pre-number, this is how you get check. These all no need to print. In this date section, date need to be printed, payee section, payee. Otherwise, this labeling also need to be printed. Okay, this labeling also need to be printed. So that's how it is. So what are the stationery we are getting? Okay, what are the stationery we are getting from the banker? Accordingly, here we have to select blank stock or pre-numbered. Numbered stock means pre-numbered. Okay, the check number would be available. When check number is available, the format also would be available. So reality, this format need to be designed by technical consultant. We will look into that format, where you can find the formats. Once they prepare it, what we have to do, we'll work on it. That is separate concept we discussed also. We will see the system later. As of now, what we can do is, by default, Oracle is providing few formats. What this format will do, it will carry the data from our instance and it will print the data as per the check format which is available in the printer. Okay, it should match. Now, if you look at this, the technical person will create the format. Okay, in that format, they will write the alignment. Reality, we take the cancel check from the client, the physical check will take, that will give to technical consultant. And the technical consultant, what they'll do, they'll take the measurement. What is the height? What is the width? And when you look at height, maybe after 4 lines, okay, 4 lines, this section would come. After 2 lines or 3 lines, the third line, we have to leave, say, for example, 60 characters text. Then date need to be printed. They will write like that. After that, say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. In the sixth line, after 6 characters, supplier name need to be printed. Maybe in the seventh line, seventh row, after, say, for example, 40 characters, the amount need to be printed, right? So that's how they will measure this check and they'll create the format, so that the format will bring the data and it will print. Otherwise, if you print the check in the printer and if you just use Oracle provided format, here Oracle is providing the format like standard check format. Okay, standard check format, Oracle providing. This is a seeded one, but we don't use this. Okay, now if I use this may print, this format may print date here. The format may print payee name here, but payee name exact should come here, date should come here. That format, whatever we selected, that may print amount here, but amount alignment is here. So exactly as per this physical check measurements, this format need to be created by technical consultant. Okay, so we'll just look into that, what level we have to understand as a part of that payment format related concept. So as of now, when you are practicing, we can select the default format, the seeded format which Oracle is providing. What technical consultant will do is, they don't create the format from the scratch. This format only they copy and they modify as per the check formats, real check formats. If you have a bank, if you are dealing with 5 banks, if you are dealing with the 5 different banks will have a different format. There could be slight difference. That means for each bank, we need to maintain the separate format. Okay, we need to maintain the separate format. So maybe HSBC check format you have to select, and JP Morgan check format, Citibank check format, Barclays check format. So every bank will have a unique format. At least there will be slight difference. You cannot find any 2 bank check formats 100% will match. No. So in the projects, when we are part of implementation, if client is using the many banks related bank accounts, even we recommend the client so to minimize the number of banks. The reason when they are going to communicate, with the banks with various reasons to receive the bank statements or to send the payment files, etc., etc. So there will be many challenges if they have many banks. They have to deal with all the banks for all the challenges. Generally, we ask the client, we advise the client, better you can minimize the number of banks with whom you are dealing. So for every bank, we have to maintain the separate check format. This need to be designed by technical consultant. As a functional consultant, you have to collect the cancelled check from the client for each and every bank that we have to share with the technical consultant. Then rest technical consultant will do. Once technical consultant job is done, what we need to do that we will understand when we talk about payment formats, that is separate concept. So as of now, take whatever Oracle is providing. Standard check format. Standard check format. Now here provide document numbering. Okay, provide document numbers. So here document number. Okay. So these many checks you received from the banker, the same you have to set up in the system. The whatever the physical checks you received from the banker, or else how many checks banker allotted you, those you have to specify. Again, here when we talk about check printing, you may print the checks as a company. When you make the payment to suppliers, you may print the checks, or else once you make the payment, to whom you made the payment as per your system, the payment file you can send to the banker. Banker may print the checks for you. You will come across this sort of reality when you are working for few clients. Few clients, what they do is they don't print any checks. As per Oracle payables, they process the payments. For invoices, they make the payment. For which invoices they process the payment, that information they will send to the banker. The banker will print the checks, then they will send to the suppliers. That means the company is outsourcing check printing to bank only. So why to play with this check printing and all? Let our process be our process. This checks, etc., etc., all related to bank. They are experts how to deal with that and why to create new story of check printing within the organization. That they may think and they may outsource check printing to bank only. In that case, bank will print and they'll send to the suppliers. Then suppliers can send those checks for clearing. So that's how the process works. Many clients, what they do is internally they print the checks, then they'll send to the suppliers. Suppliers will approach the bank for clearing process. So these are the 2 points you have to understand. So one case is the company itself, your client itself, they'll print and they'll send the checks to the suppliers. Otherwise, your client may outsource check printing to banks. That's how it is. So along with this, these checks, what you are giving, so these checks are belongs to different checkbooks. You can specify the checkbooks also here. This is just for information, so nothing to do with that. This. So this is all like, okay, one bundle of checks you got, you may treat as a checkbook, but reality in the company point of view, they don't get separate checkbooks like how we get. They'll get some bundle of checks as a continuous stationery. They'll insert, those will keep just rolling. It is not separate leaves. In our checkbooks, we'll have a separate leaves. One leaf is not connected with another leaf. Means leaf means check. One check is not connected with another check. But the checks what company will get, they will have a connection continuous so that they can insert in the printer. It will keep printing one by one. And again, you no need to keep changing that checks one after other, because those are not separate, those are continuous. If you want to provide the information, these check numbers what you are providing, so those are just separated into how many bundles or checkbooks you may call, that you may provide here. Okay, the checkbook one. Okay, here the numbering what we have, and say everything else you got as a one bundle of checks. Okay, the same I'm just giving here, just for information. So we don't need to do anything with this. Okay, you can ignore also when you're practicing, you can ignore. Just notice this point. So this is how we have to create the document. Say okay. So in the same way, okay, you must enter the latest issued document, that number more than the first available document number, less than available document number. Starting number. Ending number. Okay. Yep. Fine. It's not just you can ignore also. Okay. No maths here, leave it. So this is how you can create the document and say, okay. Here I think it is missing the zero. That's what it is talking about. I just given in the less than these digits. Yeah. Now it is fine. So here 1 lakh, 1 I given, here 1 lakh 20,000 is a number I given. Yes, that's fine. Here below what we given, that's okay, but here it went wrong. Yes. So that's how it is. Okay, this is how you may create multiple documents also. So you have one bank account, the same bank account you can use. Okay, you can use to process the variety of the payments. Check, electronic, cash. Sometimes you may make the cash payments. Even you make the cash payments, that payment you have to record in the system. When you are recording the payment in the system, it may be cash or check, payment document is required. So in case of cash, these all are not applicable, but still you have to fill anything you can fill. In case of cash, anyway, you don't print anything, but as per system, it is mandatory. You have to fill something. You have to provide some dummy information. Not applicable, not required, but Oracle made it as a mandatory. So even payment is cash. Cash you will give outside of the system, but in the system, you as you given payment outside of the system, you have to record. When you are recording in the system, payment method, payment document is required. When you create the payment document, these fields are mandatory. That is the reason you are providing, otherwise not required. Okay, only this field we need, but rest are mandatory, provide. So the same way, like the same bank account you may use to process electronic payments also. Say EFT, electronic payments. Here accordingly you can select the format. So Oracle is providing the sample formats. Those you can use. Reality, these formats need to be customized by technical consultant. Okay. Technical consultant. You just look for any one of the EFT. Okay. Say contains EFT. So these are the different, like as a sample Oracle is providing. You can just pick any one of the format. So anyone you can just use these format also. Whatever Oracle provides, technical people will modify. Because when you say EFT payments, specific data you have to send to the banker as an instruction from our side saying that I'm sending the payment file. By following that this payment file, please disperse the funds from my account to my supplier accounts. So that's how the information should be available. Whatever the information banker required from us to transfer the funds from our account to our supplier accounts, accordingly this format need to be designed by technical consultant. Since these fields are mandatory, you have to fill. Okay, so that's how it is. So you need to create the required documents for each and every method of the payment what you process. So reality, you see, like they use bank accounts for check payments, electronic payments, and the different method of the payments, same account. So that's how it is in the system. Okay, in the system, when you are making the payment, bank account is mandatory. When you select the bank account, payment document is mandatory. That is the reason, even that is outside cash you are giving, here some dummy document you have to create in the system as a cash to record the reality whatever happened in the system environment. Okay, so this is how you can create the documents. When you are practicing, simply you can create the check and you can proceed. Okay. So done. So we created bank account and we selected who is the owner for the bank account, and we specified this bank account can be used by which applications, and we noticed system is defaulting these accounts the moment you select legal entity, how it is deriving these accounts based on rapid implementation data extended tagging. Now this bank account can be accessed by which business unit? As of now there is no clue to the system. No business unit can have access to this bank account. No business unit can have access to this bank account. Now we have to give the permission to specific business unit to use this bank account. To which BUs we can give the permission? The BUs which are under this legal entity only, right? Which are under this legal entity. So only the BUs which are under this legal entity only you can assign this bank account. Let's assign this bank account to business unit. Here is the tab. Click on business unit access. Click on business unit access and click on plus icon. As of now, this bank account is not assigned to any BU. Click on plus icon. Now see, I didn't select any BU, but system is taking cash and cash clearing account. Cash and cash clearing account. It is taking what code combination is taking? Whatever available in the bank account level. Try to understand. Account level we have accounts. Bank account level we have a accounts. These accounts simply you can call a GL accounts. This is all we created as a part of chart of accounts. Generally we call as account code combinations as GL accounts. GL account code combinations. Okay. So bank account level, we have GL accounts. These you can call as GL accounts also. Bank account level, we have a GL accounts. This account system is deriving based on the rapid implementation sheet, and by default it takes very first company which is available as per our chart of account. That's how it is filling all this. Now when I go to business unit access to assign this bank account to RBU, what it is doing is bank account level, what are the accounts we have, those it is copying into this page also. Here we have to be very careful. So system copy that accounts which are available at account level, bank account level, but this bank account you are assigning to which BU, accordingly you have to change the balancing segment values. Now take example. The three BUs we have under same legal entity. Three BUs we have under same legal entity. Take that example. Three BUs we have under same legal entity. So BU1, BU2, BU3. These three we have under same LE. LE1. Now the bank account, whatever we created at LE level, okay, bank account, whatever we created at LE level, so that bank account can be assigned to these three BUs. Now say for BU1, we are using balance and segment value 1000. BU2, we are using 2000. BU3, 3000. So this is the reality. So for each, okay, for each BU, we are using separate balance and segment values. Now, when you assign this LE, and again another point. So this bank account level, system is taking the account code combinations with 1000. Now when I try to assign this bank account to BU1, the bank account level we have 1000 code combination. For BU1 also it is 1000, it is okay. But when I try to assign this bank account to BU2, what system will do is account level, whatever the code combination we have, that only it will copy to BU2 assignment also. But BU2 we need 2000. So if system is taking 1000, we have to change to 2000. If I am trying to assign this BU bank account to BU3, what it will do? Bank account level code combination only it will copy at BU level also. But BU3 we have a balance and segment value 3000 that we have to update. That's very, very important. So here, if I select BU2, for BU2 also it will show 1000 because this is coming from account level. I have to change to 2000. If I am selecting BU3 here, for 3 also it will display the same. Now I have to change the balance and segment values to 3000. And another important point, if you have 5 bank accounts, for each bank account, you have to maintain separate cash account. Cash clearing account is okay. Cash clearing account, one account you can use for multiple. So for each bank account, you have to maintain the separate cash accounts. So reality, when you do the implementation, to create separate, maybe you have 2 HSBC bank accounts client is using. So now you will create account, like you may give some number for that account and you will give the name as HSBC and there will be account number, right? Account number also write in the description itself. They may give extended tagging, like they may say this is a primary. And another account they have another bank account. This is the just code what we are taking in our system purpose. This is a real bank account number. The number also you will take in the description so that easily the business users can understand. Second, else 1, 2 they may give, right? The naming, how they can identify. This is how we have to create cash accounts in the system. Okay, cash account means we are just when you are making the payment. So which bank account we are using, that relevant cash account we have to maintain the system. Now here, if you see this cash account, it's simply the name is written as a cash. See here, cash checking Bank of America account. This is how you have to indicate. If you want to give the within the description number also you can give, or else you don't have multiple accounts with the same bank, only one account you have with that bank. This is how you can write the name, right? So that the user should be able to identify the naming convention. Very, very important. So if you have a 5 bank accounts, 5 separate cash accounts you have to create. We should not use the same cash account for multiple bank accounts. Remember, each bank account we maintain separate cash account. Cash clearing account we can use the same. for multiple hours, not an issue. So very important. Now, if you click on drop down, we are able to see three BUs, but we cannot deal with other BUs. Other BUs are belongs to different legal entities. Say I'm selecting the financial services, 1000 is okay. Okay, 1000 is okay. I'll say okay because for financial services only 1000. Now click on OK. Done. Now just click on plus icon. I'm selecting consulting services. See what it is taking? 1000 only. Here you have to change to 2000. But anyway, you cannot use. Okay, no issues. Just you, for our understanding, you take this point. So for consulting, I'm taking 2000. I'll say okay. Software development. 2000. 3000. Say okay. So this is how we have to do the mapping. This is how we have to do the mapping. Now just we assign the bank account to this three BUs and say save and close. Okay. So that's how it is. Okay, we can review our bank account. When you create the payment, you can see that's how it will impact. Okay, this is how it is. So we created bank account, you can open and you can view this. So these are the points which you have to notice. Okay, so we will just test the bank account behavior means across the legal entities. This is mapped with across, and the BUs are belongs to different legal entities. We map. We will see like when you are dealing with the payment, how it is going to behave. So this is how we can create the bank branch account and account assignments. You can do at BU level. Okay, you can do at BU level. That. Now, to process the payments in the system, we need to create payment process profile. We need to create payment process profile. It's a very simple definition. So we'll just see how the profile can be created when you make the payments. Just click on done. Search for the task called as payment process profile. Search for the task called as payment process profile. Say payment process profile. Now click on this task, manage payment process profiles. Just click on plus icon. Okay, so here I'll give the name as ERP3 standard payment process profile and give the code ERP3 standard. And whatever the payment, documents we created at bank account level, that you have to select. This you are going to use to process, say, check payments. So whatever you just created document, that document you have to select here. We give a name as check. What name we given? No, we given standard check, right? Standard check format. The same you have to select. When you create a document, inside of document, there is a field called as format. There we given standard check format. We discussed that is provided by Oracle. So that same you have to select so that these two will be in the sync and you will be able to process the payments by using this payment process profile and by using that bank account. Okay, by using that bank. See what is the common between the bank account and this payment process profile? Payment file format. Here the name they given as a payment file format, but at the bank account level they given format. Notice this. When we create a document, their format we selected as a standard check format. Here the same format field they are giving as a payment file format. So bank account level in the document, whatever the format you selected, whatever the format you are selecting in the payment process profile level, both should match. Otherwise, you cannot use this payment process profile with that bank account. And processing type, how you are going to process the payment electronically or printed. Printed means checks, electronic means EFT, say printed. And here you can set up certain rules. Here you can see when we use this payment process profile, so how we want to pick the invoices and what is the criteria you can see. You can specify specific currency invoices only system has to select. Say you created invoices in INR, USD, GBP, etc., etc. But now this payment process profile should work only for specific currency related invoice payments. That rule you can set. I can select currency as a specific, I would say only USD. So that means by using this payment process profile, I can process only USD related payments. I cannot use this payment process profile to process any other currency related payments. So this is how you can give the specification. You can specify this. If you want to limit this payment process profile to process specific currency payments, yes, you can set. The same way you can set, so this payment process profile, when you use this, this will allow to process the payments only for specific BU that you can set. Otherwise, by default, any BU you can use this. Here you may select specific BU. You want to use this payment process profile to process only this BU related payments. For other BUs, you may have a separate payment process profiles. So this is how you can specify. The same way, this payment process profile you want to use only for specific bank account. Then you can specify your bank account. So with this payment process profile, you don't want to process the payments by using the different bank accounts, only specific bank account. We created as HSBC corporate account. The same way, you want to use this to process specific payment methods. Supplier site level we have seen, we have set payment method as a check. That's how there are many. By default, Oracle provides few payment methods. When you talk about payment method, generally what Oracle will do is, Oracle provides payment method like check and EFT, and clearing also they'll provide. So check means, yes, check payments, EFT, electronic process. Clearing, generally this can be used for Dummy payments, those are nothing but intercompany related transactions. If you are making the payments, we use this payment method. So whenever you make the payment method is mandatory. But if transactions are happening within the organization between the entities, so payment is not mandatory mostly. Sometimes even they process the payments, real payments they will execute. Most of the cases, no. So in such kind of case scenarios, payment method is mandatory when you make the payment. That is the reason Oracle is giving payment method as a clearing. The payment method called as clearing we use for intercompany related payments, which are dummy payments. Notice that point. Okay, clearing payment method for intercompany purpose, intercompany related payments. Say you created intercompany invoice in the payables and you want to make the payment. How you are making the payment, through check or electronic? No, that is not a real payment. That's a dummy. Internally, just you want to record it. So how do you pay? Just it's a settlement. You have to clear it in the system. You have to clear it. That is the reason we use the payment method called as clearing. What is the purpose of payment method clearing? For intercompany related payments, we use payment method as a clearing. So that's what we have to understand. So this is how you can give the specification. This payment process profile can be used. Okay, what purposes and what is the criteria you can give, or else you can set to all. That means this payment process profile you can use to process any method of payments. This payment process profile can be used by any bank account to process the payments, and this payment process profile can be used by any BU and any currency. This is how you can give the specifications and just say save and close. Fine, payment process profile is ready. Now, assign. If you have any question, just make a note. Make a note. We'll discuss. Now, assign AP roles to user. We have seen the GL roles. We assign the GL roles to user. We assign the primary ledger to that user related roles. And we open the periods and we recorded journal within the GL. In the same way, in payables also, the AP specific roles we have to assign to the user so that the user will be able to access to the AP application. So assign payable related roles to user. So here I'm writing. Okay, this data is not required. Remove. AP seeded roles. AP seeded roles. So to assign the roles to user, go to security console. To assign the roles to user, go to security console. Go to security console. And go to users. Find our user account. And click on username to open the user account. Now we are going to assign AP related seeded roles. What are the roles Oracle is providing for payables application? Those roles we are going to assign to this user. Just click on edit. Okay. When we talk about user, we have a two key points pending to discuss. One is we will understand the user profile. The other point is we'll understand what is auto provision roles. Add roles we know we are adding. remove all the roles. If you click, all roles will be removed. What is auto provision role? So these 2 points are pending. We'll discuss. So now let's assign AP related roles to user. Search for the role called as accounts payable. It's a bit slow. That's okay. Okay, accounts payable manager role. If you look at accounts payable manager role, we have 2 copies. We know which one to choose. Always you prefer to choose which is starting with ORA. Assign. So one role is accounts payable manager. The other role is accounts payable specialist role. Accounts payable specialist role. Select. Again select and assign. What is the role name? Accounts payable specialist. Next role. Search for accounts payable supervisor role. Okay, accounts payable supervisor. 2 copies. Go with ORA role code. Yes, sir. So these are the 3 primary roles. These 3 roles will give full access to payables. And along with that, Oracle also providing roles like accounts payable. Let's type invoice supervisor. Assign. By looking at the name, you can understand what is the inside. It allows the users to access only invoices. So accounts payable, since invoice supervisor is there, there should be payment supervisor. So this is another role. So these are the seeded roles for payables application. So we'll have a separate session where we will look into these roles, what we have inside. We'll compare one role with another role. That's how we'll understand. For now, our task is knowing what roles we have. Don't try to understand what is there inside of these, how this manager role is different from supervisor. Not now. After some time, we will look into that for sure. So we'll have a separate session called as role customization. There we are going to explore those points. Just make a note. You should be able to answer. If I ask you the question, please talk about what are the seeded roles we have for AP. Right? You should be able to answer. That's how you should get ready. So we assign the roles. Cool. Now, if user got access to these roles, what user can do? User cannot do anything within this role because to that user or these roles, primary ledger is not assigned, business unit is not assigned. If you assign the business unit to these roles, already business unit we assign the primary ledger. If you notice, by using the task called as business unit, assign business unit business functions. By using the task called as we created business unit and we gone through the task called as assign business unit business functions. Through that setup to our BU, we assigned primary ledger and legal entity. We assigned primary ledger and legal entity. So that is a point we have to understand. So if you assign business unit to these roles, it means we are assigning our primary ledger also to these roles. Separately, you don't need to assign primary ledger to these roles. If you assign the business unit to these roles, we are assigning primary ledger also to these roles so that within that business unit, by using that primary ledger, we can record the transactions by using these roles. That's how it works. Okay. Now we'll go and assign business unit to AP roles. Say done. Save and close. Even if you click on done, you should click on save and close. Otherwise, this assignment cannot be saved. Yeah, don't assume the assignments are saved. No, you should click on this, then only this assignment will be saved. Once you assign, it won't get saved automatically. You should perform this action. Now, what is the next task? We need to assign the business unit to AP related roles. Now tell me, by using which task, we assign primary ledger to GL roles? Anyone please unmute and you can answer. By using which task we assigned primary ledger to GL roles? Anyone please.
Manage data access user.
Manage
Data access user.
data access for users.
Yeah.
Okay. So same task we are going to use to assign BU to AP roles. Same task you can use. We don't need to go with a separate task. Separate task also available with a business unit naming convention, but not required. You can use for any assignment same task. Okay, first click on done. You can come out from this page and we can navigate to the same task. So just go to setup and maintenance. And search for the task called as data access for users. Okay, data access for users. We are not in the finance. That is the reason it is not fetching directly. Yes, we can use other task also, but let's use that only. Select financials. Now search. Here is the task. Manage data access for users. If not this task, which task you can use? This task you can use. Manage business unit data access for users. Okay. So not required. When you are assigning business unit, you look for business unit. When you are assigning something else, you look for relevant task, not required. All tasks will take us to same page. So use this task. It will take us to same page. You don't need to look for separate task. You don't need to remember separate task based on what you are assigning. Now we are assigning business unit. You will look for business unit task. Tomorrow you will assign inventory organization to inventory application. You look for this. And you want to assign the ledger to GL roles, you will use this task. In the fixed assets, you will assign asset book to FA roles, you will use this task. Why to play with all these tasks? You don't need to use different tasks for different purposes. For all the tasks, the purpose is assignment. If you use this task, anything can be assigned to any application related roles. You want to assign primary ledger to GL roles, use this task. You want to assign business unit to AP roles, use this task. You want to assign asset book to asset roles, use this task. You want to assign inventory organization to inventory application roles, use the task. Oracle given separate task but not required to play with those. You can just go with one and only task called as manage data access for users. Click on this task. Now click on the same task once again. Okay. Now click on plus icon. Click on plus icon. And select user. You know the story how to deal with this. Select role. So only we have to assign business unit to AP roles. we no need to assign a business unit to GL roles. Okay, because GL is not standing at BU level as per enterprise structure. Only to AP roles. Only to AP roles. You no need to assign to supplier role also. Only AP roles. So here we'll go one by one. Accounts payable invoice supervisor. Role name is accounts payable invoice supervisor. And what we are going to assign to this role, that we have to select as a security contest. What we want to assign to this role, that is called as a security contest. Now, what is our security contest? What we are going to assign is BU. So security contest, we have to select as a business unit. So click on the drop down and select business unit. For this user, for this role, we are going to assign business unit. Select our BU from here. So ERP tree, financial services. ERP tree, financial services. If you want to give access to other BUs also, yes, this is how you have to do. The same role you want to give access to another BU. I'm selecting accounts payables invoice supervisor role. Security contest is business unit. And I want to assign the second BU. Means to the same user, same role, I am assigning multiple BUs. Consulting services. To same user, to same role, I will assign one more BU. Select role. And select contest as a business unit. And here you can select third BU. So same user, we are assigning multiple BUs for the same role also. So this is how you can assign. Now we don't need these two BUs. I'm going to clear. Click on this clear record. Click on clear. So we are going to assign financial services BU to all the roles. So click on plus icon. Select user. Click on drop down. It will display the username since we used accounts payable invoice supervisor we selected. Now we'll select accounts payables payment supervisor. And what we are going to assign to this role? Same business unit. And click on the drop down and select the BU name for this user role also. Financial services. Click on plus icon. Select user. Now select the different role. Say accounts payable manager role. security contest is same, that is business unit, and select our BU name, financial services. Here is a duplicate option. If you click on duplicate, this record will be duplicated. You can update. Click on duplicate. So this record got selected, it will be duplicated. So the user record duplicated. Now you can change the role name. Accounts payable manager we selected. Now accounts payable supervisor. Contest is business unit. Okay. And select RB unit. Click on plus icon. So one more role we have, that is specialist role. Accounts payable specialist role. So financial services is our B unit. So save and close. Now in this page, I can just check for specific user which roles are assigned to which roles, what data access is assigned. The data access is nothing but primary ledger assignment to GL roles, business unit access to AP roles. The BU and primary ledger is treated as a data access. Now in this page, I want to check for specific user which roles are assigned. Here we have two radio options: users without data access, users with data access. The first one is by default selected. Now I want to check for specific user. I want to check for ERP tree user. Select username. Select user. Now click on search. To this user, what are the roles assigned? You can see that. These are the total roles which are assigned to this user. Okay. Based on security contest, it is displaying, but always you see distinct. So which roles we assigned? Supplier role and application implementation consultant, general accountant, IT security manager, right? And below you can see payables related roles. This is contest wise is unnecessary information, but that's how they are displaying. Okay. You may close this page and open, it will display the payable related roles, whatever we assigned. As of now, it is not fetching immediately. Think those are not updated. So then again, just come back to this page and check. check. Those are not synchronized. Ideally, you will be able to see from here. Okay. I can just check here. I just go with the users with the data access so that you can see to this user for what data access is provided. So my requirement is to this user, okay, to this user, which BU access is provided. Select security contest as only BU. To this user, which BUs are assigned, I want to understand. Search. You can see now. So for these 5 roles, same BU is assigned. Same way here, you can select. So data access set, don't select ledger, select data access set, and you can check to this user which ledger is assigned, you can understand. So that's how you can use these 2 radio options. One, just if you want to see the roles which are assigned, the other one is to verify which data access is provided. You can, if you select all, everything it will display. Otherwise, you can just check specific access also. Or else even you can check for this user, for so and so role, what BU access given. Here role also you can select combination filter. The specific role wise also you can search. For this user, for the role called as accounts payable manager. For this user, for accounts payable manager role, okay, select first one always. For accounts payable manager role, which BU is assigned. You can filter. For this user, for this role, this BU is assigned. Say for the same role, for this user, multiple BUs are assigned. Yes, you can see here. Right. So that's how just you can look into that. So we assigned business unit to user roles. User roles. Now we need to open AP periods. Since we assign the roles, we need to submit LDAP job. Here, submit LDAP job. Okay, assigning the roles to user and BU to AP roles, run LDAP. So that the assignments will get synchronized. So to run the LDAP, you can select under functional area, initial users. Here is a task which will navigate us to submit job called as retrieve LDAP latest changes. Latest LDAP changes. Okay, retrieve latest LDAP changes is the job name. Submit. So it will synchronize the changes. It will synchronize the changes. Save. It takes some time. So you may wait for a minute. Then we can check whether this user is able to access to payables or not. So once the roles are synchronized with this user, In the navigator, you'll be able to see payables. In the navigator, you can see payables. As of now, there is nothing related to payables. There is no payables section. Nothing. We have a general ledger. Okay. We have receivables, but nothing. That is just empty label. That's all. Inside, nothing is there. So payables, we don't see. Reason, the roles, whatever we assign, those are not as synchronized. Just wait for a minute. We'll go and review so that we'll be able to see the payables section within the navigator. It takes some time. So better you can log out and log in. It may reflect the changes immediately. Now go to navigator. So within the navigator, we are able to see payables. The roles are synchronized. Now expand payables. Under payables, we have payables dashboard, invoices, and payments. Okay. To create invoices, we can use this task. Payments, this is the task, and just have a like review. I mean, if you want to view that the payables related any information, okay, there are the separate dashboards kind of stuff Oracle created. They will be able to have a look like what is happening in the payables very high level. So anything struck or how it is working, everything is going smooth. We'll see that. So these are the three separate tasks we have. If you want to open the payables periods, you have to go to invoices task. From there you can open. Before you open payables periods, we need to open GL periods. We'll go and check whether GL periods are open or not. Of course, in previous classes we opened, but that instance was different. I will check whether the payables GL period is open or not. Just click on. Okay. See. No data access. First of all, this user doesn't have access to ledger also. So we'll just assign data access for this user. Since this is a different environment, in this instance, that setup is pending. Same task, data access for users. So we have 5 rows for GL. Already we have tested how to assign primary ledger to 5 rows. Again and again, you don't need to assign to 5 rows since we are learning. Every time you don't need to do that. Just assign primary ledger to these 2 roles, enough. So general accountant and general accounting manager. These 2 roles will give full access to GL application, including opening the periods. So role is general accountant, security contest is data access set, nothing but our ledger name. So our ledger name is ERP tree US. Since we loaded through rapid implementation process, the name what we given plus the ledger is created for which country, the code it will take. Click on plus icon. So general accounting manager. Select the same ledger. So ledger, but it is there in the form of data access set. So we assign ledger to our user roles for GL. Now submit LDAP once again for synchronization purpose. Submit. Say okay. Done. So we know it takes some time. Wait for a minute. Meantime, you can log out and log in and give it a try. It works. Okay. Else wait. So go to general accounting, period close. Now this user got access to this. Now we can open the periods, but I'm not opening the periods. Okay, here also we have option to open the periods for payables. From here also we can open the periods for payables application. And the GL periods are not open. Now we will test something. Directly go to payables. Just note GL periods are not open. GL periods are not open. Go to payables and try to open the periods for payables application. Okay, how we are navigating to this page? We are expanding payables. Expand payables. Under payables section, there is a one task called as invoices. Click on invoices task. Click on invoices task. This is navigating to this page. This page we call as invoice workbench, because invoice related work is performed in this page. That is the reason we call it as invoice workbench. Okay, invoice workbench. So same you can see in the title also. Here you can see invoice workbench invoices. Now click on the task panel. Click on this task pan, expand it. Just click on this. So here there are many tasks, and the last task is manage accounting periods under payables periods. Under payables periods, we have task called as manage accounting periods. If you want to open the periods for payables application, you have to click on this task. Manage accounting periods is the task name. Click on the task. It will navigate us to the page from where we can open the periods for AP application. Now choose our ledger. We discussed already. We don't open the periods specific BU, we open the periods ledger level for specific application. Now application is payables. For the payables application, you want to open the periods at which ledger level? Look for our ledger. Here is our ledger. Click on ledger name. You see how many BUs are assigned to that ledger. You can notice. Let me close this. If you place the cursor on this ledger, you can see how many BUs are assigned to this ledger. We are opening the periods for payables. That means the same will be applicable for all those BUs. To the same ledger. The ledger is associated with these many BUs. The ledger we assign to these many BUs. Now we are opening the periods for payables at ledger level. That will be applicable for these three BUs. So we are not opening the periods BU level. We are opening the periods at ledger level. That ledger is associated with how many BUs? The same period status will be applicable for all those BUs. Now click on ledger name. And select first period. As per our calendar, the first period is Jan 25. Say OK. Okay. The message you selected period as Jan, it will set as the initial period for this subledger. For payables application, it will set as this is the first period. You won't be able to open any period that precedes this. Do you want to continue? Means previous periods you cannot open. It will treat as a first and initial period, and you can open further periods, not previous periods. Yes, this is the very first period. There are no previous periods. This is okay for us. Say yes. Just refresh. So first period is open. Now open target period. the target period is May. Say open. Okay. May period is open. Now the question is, can we open AP periods without opening GL periods? The answer is yes. But reality, why we should open GL period before you open the AP periods? When you create the transactions in AP, when you transfer that accounting information to GL, if that information need to be posted in the GL period should be open. And again, when you are creating the transactions, the AP also say you are trying to make the payment, again, it will validate whether GL period is open or not. So there are controls, there are certain controls which system will validate. That is the reason always you open the GL period before open any subledger application periods. Always you open GL first, then you'll open rest. And when you are closing, every period will close. Subledger applications will close first and will close GL as a last. So this is a point. Yes, we can open AP periods without opening GL, but reality, if GL period is not open, even AP period is GL period is not open, even your AP period is open. When you create the transactions, it will create the issues when you are posting that journal entries, when you are trying to process the payments. So that is the reason always you have to open the GL period. Now let's not open the GL period. What will happen? We'll see. Okay. For understanding purpose, let's not open the GL period. Yeah, done. Right. So done. We complete all the setups. We complete all the setups, and just for our testing purpose, we left with a GL period. Now, anyway, directly we are not going to create anything in the GL. GL period is not yet open. AP periods are open. When we test, we'll understand how system will behave. So yeah, we'll just navigate and we'll discuss few points, then we'll close for today. So we are in this page. Now I want to create invoice. I want to create invoice. To create the invoice, go to task pan. Go to task pan. And click on create invoice task. Click on create invoice task. Yes. Here we can create the invoice. This is a page where we can create invoice. We'll go more deeper later. For now, just very high level understanding purpose. Let's take simple data point. Now, so here when you create invoice, first we have to select business unit. In which business unit you want to create invoice? In which business unit you want to create the invoice? You have to select business unit. If I click on business unit drop down, you tell me for how many business units we given access to this user. For how many BUs we given access?
One.
Only one, right? Now see what will happen. This user is able to access to all BUs. Why? Because
Because he has the application consultant role.
yeah, I'm coming to that. Yeah. Okay. The reason is the roles whatever we assigned accordingly the user can get access along with the data access what we provided. So we given only access to this user to access only this one BU. Yes, reality that's how we do for the business users who are working on the system. We'll assign the AP related role and we'll assign the AP what BU access required. We'll assign AR related roles to the AR department users. We'll assign the BU. So that's how we'll provision the access for the business users. Now, this user we are using for two purposes. We are going to do the setups and we are going to test. We are going to play two roles. One is consultant role, other one is end user role. So since we have application implementation consultant role, that role is overriding the data access what you given. If you remove the role called as application implementation consultant role for this user will be able to access to only one BU. So application implementation consultant is allowing the user to have access to all the roles, all the BUs. Now we'll go on to test it. We'll create separate user and we will assign single role or multiple roles. We'll assign the BU. Then how that user is going to access all BUs or specific BUs, let's try to understand. Let's create one user. One second. Go to security console. Close this. Go to users. Click on add user account. I'm creating user like AP123 username. So this user job in the company is the user creates only invoices. Only if you want to allow the user to create invoices, no payments access, you can assign the role called as accounts payable specialist role or accounts payable invoice supervisor. Say accounts, wait, it is taking time. Accounts payable specialist. Click on done. Set password. To this user role, we need to assign BU. So we have to assign BU to this user role. Yes. Now go to the task called as data access for users to provision BU access for this user role, or you can say to provide the data access. Here data access is nothing but giving access to BU, we call as a data access. So the task name is data access for users. Just click on plus icon. Not ERP3, AP123. Only one role we assign to this user, the same you can find from this page also. Select. So we want to assign business unit. Select security contest as a BU. So which BU access we want to give to this user? Select same BU and say save and close. Click on done. And submit LDAP for synchronization. And just make a note, user level we are not opening the periods, ledger level we are opening the periods. Again, for this user you don't need to open the periods separately, only ledger level, not user level. So ledger undo application combination, for specific application we do that. So there is error message, it means somebody already submitted, the job is running. No worries. So now before we connect to the instance with this new user, we'll go back to the navigator and we'll see as of now ERP3 user is able to access to what. Just click on the navigator. There is a big list, right? Within the navigator, big list. This is all because of the roles which are assigned to this ERP3. And if you look at payables, under payables we have payables dashboard, invoices, payments. This again relate because of AP related roles. Now log out from this user and log into the instance as a AP123 user for whom we given access to only one role. Sign out from this user, log in as a AP123 user. We set the password for this user. Set password. Reset. Let's see. We'll go and reset the password and we'll review. You can set from actions also, or else just open the user account to reset the password. So reset password. Select manually change the password. Reset. It's done. Now just sign out and sign in with AP123 user. So only one role is assigned to this user. Based on the role, this user can have access to the application. Now, blank, let's wait. Yeah. If you click on navigator, what you see within the navigator is very much limited. Okay. You can just click on payables, expand payables, only you have invoices. The accounts payable supervisor role allows the user to create invoices. There is no payables dashboard access. There is no payments related task. Now click on invoices task. Sometimes if you click on invoices, it may not maybe the case like it is not synchronized. It won't take you to that page. In that case, just you have to wait for a few more minutes. That's it. Now go to task pan. Go to task pan. Click on create invoice, or else here we have a tab called as create also. Directly you can click on create, or else expand this panel and see the limited tasks, very limited. In case of ERP tree, we were able to see the big list, and we open the periods from the invoice workbench only. This is invoice workbench, but accounts payable specialist doesn't have access to open the periods, only limited tasks. Now if you click on create invoice, so this user got access to only one BU, and this user doesn't have access to application implementation consultant role or other roles. Because of that, the user is limited to access only designated BU. Only one BU we assign to this user. Now if you click on drop down, this user can create invoices only for this business unit. This user can create invoices only for this business unit. From ERP tree, we are able to see multiple BUs because the application implementation consultant role is assigned. And depending on which roles assigned, and you will be able to access the data also. This is an example you can take. So by default, user will get access to the designated BUs only. Now AP123 user we created. This is how we create the real users for business. The accountants or analysts, the finance team will be working on the system for those users. Will create a user, will assign specific application related roles. We don't give access to IT security manager or application implementation consultant roles. So that's how it works. So we are done with this. Just we reviewed why user is able to access multiple BUs, even we given access to only one BU. Yeah, that is the point we have to understand. There are a few more points related to invoice creation page. Before we start creating invoice, we will discuss that we can plan in the next session. So, any questions from anyone, please? No questions. If no questions, we'll connect in the next session.
Sir, I have a general question, not on today's topic. Can I ask?
Yeah.
So in one of the instance, actually what happens is that in the create site page, the couple of tabs, that is payments and site segment, site assignment tabs are not appearing. What might be the reason, sir?
You are creating supplier.
Supplier site, yeah, supplier site.
We discussed in the last session what could be the reasons. What did you understand? I given list of reasons. You tell me, what do you remember?
Actually, so I thought of went through the recording, but the recording is not available till the evening, so I could not remember that two reasons, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, go through that. Go through that, because
Okay.
if I say something, that is not enough.
Okay.
Yeah. See, you have to go through the previous classes, then only you can learn. Otherwise, you'll be asking basic questions,
Yeah.
right?
Correct.
And then you'll be struggling a lot. I can answer, but you'll be struggling. That is not the right way of learning. That is the
That's
reason
what.
I'm just requesting.
That's what actually, as I have waited till 6:30, could not find the recording.
Correct.
So I thought of it. I
You
could
know
not
what
get the chance.
happened in the yesterday session? It went offline, right? Sometime.
Yeah.
So screen block. That is reason I should edit that video. I edited
Okay.
it, took some time, rendering and all. So finally, I uploaded by 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today I will go through it recording. If still
Yes.
a question is not answered, I
You
will.
will not have any questions. If you go through that video, smoothly you can create the supplier.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone, please?
So while assigning BU in the security context value for the AP roles, we got some LOV for particular user, right?
Yes.
So this user, when we are creating user employee creation process, there we are giving BU for this user, which is under some LE. So
No, 1 second there. Let me explain one point there. That we can understand when you are dealing with that application. That is, I planned, since you are asking
Okay.
question, let me talk about. So we created employee user, right? So when you are creating employee user, say you selected BU1. Take this example. Now, else let me take the username is ABC. At the time of employee user creation, ABC user, you selected BU1. Now, for employee user called as ABC, you assigned AP role, like accounts payable manager. Now you are assigning BU2. So when ABC will connect to instance through accounts payable manager role, this ABC can create invoices only for BU2, not for BU1. Have you assigned BU1 to AP roles? Please respond.
no.
No, right?
No.
To AP roles, whatever the BU you assign, that BU only that user can access. But why you assign employee user level BU1? Because this employees belongs to BU1. If employees belongs to BU1, by default the employee may work for the same BU or else other BUs also. So where this BU1 will be useful? This BU1 will be useful if this ABC user is going to create expense reports. The ABC user can create expense reports only within this BU, not in the other BUs.
Okay.
Okay, that's how these
Yes.
two are different. So employee user level, whatever the BU you are assigning, you cannot access that BU from your payables or receivables application. From payables or receivables application, which BU you want to access. Accordingly, you have to give this access again. So user level BU only you can use to create the expense reports. Now, ABC can create expense reports only in the BU1, not in the BU2. Only in the BU1.
Okay.
So this is what we have to understand. This point I just plan to discuss when we deal with expense. Okay, just since you're asking, here is the answer. Got it, right?
Yes, yes. Thank you, sir.
Fine. Any other questions, please?
Sir, this video can be uploaded soon, right, today?
Yeah,
Because
immediately. This.
Yeah. So like I'm missing some notes when I'm concentrating here and writing. So I'm missing. That's why I'm
I'll send
asking.
it. You know, yesterday there was some glitch in the meeting, right? So that is the reason it took time for me to edit, to remove that part where we could not see the screen. So it took time. This I'll just upload within 30 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions from anyone, please? No questions. So that's all for today. We'll catch up on Monday. Spend good time this Saturday and Sunday on the classes, whatever we completed. You can become busy to read the content and to practice. That's how you can ready for Monday. Yeah. Don't take a rest if you are doing this course. You have to be quite busy. If you are just attending the class, nothing you can learn and do it. Okay, you have to be quite busy. Just read from beginning, practice from beginning, and just focus on all the concepts what we discussed from the AP side. All the points you should be able to speak. If you are able to understand, that is not enough. Understanding many people can do, but presentation is important. You should be able to present. So simple check is, if I'm asking the question, you are able to answer, then you are on the track. Okay, you can utilize today and tomorrow for this learning. Yeah, that's how it is. So done for today. We'll catch up on Monday. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.